about it. Now we're live. Happy days. Happy Monday. Welcome. Good morning. How are you, Nick? You're looking as though you're sitting in an amazing spot, but still in and on the
Yes.
business, right? That's what it's all about.
Yeah, school holidays, but the business doesn't stop,
Doesn't stop. No,
and
indeed.
the world doesn't stop. And
No,
hey,
it
if you got
doesn't.
goals and if you got goals and ambitions, neither should you.
Indeed. So one of the topic of today is it's about mentors and talking about why do we need more than one mentor? So I thought that'd be a great topic to talk about because we've been talking a lot about business growth and all those sort of things. And as we know, you and I would not have been able to do what we've done in the past without mentors, not just a
Yeah,
mentor. Mentors. I thought it would be a good share today for the
yeah,
start of the
yeah.
week.
Look, hey, as we talk about a lot, is making sure you got your filters in place about where you're deriving information from. And I think a big overlaying theme there is about critical thinking, which is often sadly lacking. Um, but what you can, I think you can improve that critical thinking is by getting more data points, more information, and particularly, absorb yourself in views that are contrary to your own. And, so the more mentors you can get. So, what areas do you need to improve in your life? And in business, it may not just be business topics, it might be your
Exactly.
vitality, your energy, so
Health.
that you can get more done. So you may need to look for mentors in that space outside of just
Mm.
business, but that can actually contribute to you having more energy in your business and, of course, in your life.
And of course, your business starts with you. We've often spoken about that as well. So, that speaks directly to not just looking after all elements of the business, but looking after you as well and doing whatever you need to do. And interestingly, while I was walking the dogs this morning, I did a quick video on the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people. And what are you doing for you to be the best version of you every day? And one of those is, well, checking in with yourself. What are the things that you need to do? And as you say, if you need help, that's where you need to go and find. Well, who are those experts? Because at any given point in time in your life, in your daily working in the business, at one point you might only need one mentor, but at other points you might need many. And we often speak about the importance of having a team around you, and by that we don't necessarily mean yes, your staff are important, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about other people that can give you a different perspective, that can check you, hold you accountable, and fill the gaps of the skills that you don't have. Because you can't, whilst as early business owner, you're going to need to do many things in your business. But what are the
Yeah.
things you absolutely must seek a support and help from others that can actually help you to make good decisions and give you the data points, right?
Yeah. So first of all, make sure that you're getting this. Getting these mentors or selecting these mentors in a place of knowledge that is elevated higher where your level of knowledge is in that particular topic. You must do that. Just check what the credibility, background, and experience is. Are they, is their voice coming from a place which is where you would prefer to be or like to be over and above where you are right now? Really important, because often we're getting this advice and this mentoring from close family members, whether that be parents, uncles, aunties, that whilst they may have years, which is also very good, but they may not have the years of experience in the area where you want to be. So often people look to these mentors where they're telling us things that what you shouldn't be doing. What you need to know is what you should be doing. And I think we at Navigate Biz, we're very clear on that with our business owners about giving them the pathway to what they should be doing. Sure, the warning signs, where to steer clear, recalling mistakes that we've made,
Exactly.
but the areas that you must get right to get your business right. So, through, as I mentioned before, in terms of which areas that you want is hey, maybe it's about just your energy level. Particularly, we talk about goals, vision, purpose.
Yep.
Who do you know around you that's super really clear on what they want in life? And what does that do to, do they seem to have higher levels of energy and vitality. Do they seem to have endless amounts of energy? And so maybe there's a clue there, because
Well,
they've got their
exactly
vision,
right,
their
and
values,
not
their purpose, and
yeah.
they're connected.
Yeah, and not just energy, but those people you will generally see they're ticking off the goals because their energy and their purpose is aligned to their big goals, and so they're ticking those off. What are you seeing as, you might perceive it as overnight success or lucky? Well, that's just BS. That is because they've got some really solid rhythms in their own, how they manage themselves and how they manage their business. Invariably, those people who are very connected to that, and it's really obvious who those people are. So these people are you should reach out to them, and they could be people that you don't even actually know. It could be that they have an amazing podcast that you want to tap into and listen to, so that you can gather some of the tips that they have used over the past. Like, we share this stuff all the time. Hell, we're doing it today, for goodness sake. So there's lots of ways you can secure that mentorship. It could be by joining the Navigate Biz community. It could be talking to people who are really experienced in IT, marketing, hiring people, strategy, all those different areas of business. But there's different ways that you can connect to them as well, right? I know you listen to many books, and there's podcasts you listen to. I'm the same, and I definitely see those as people as mentoring me, because I'm absorbing what they've learned and how can I implement in my business for me. But then there could be the one-on-one like we do.
Yeah, well, hey, as many of our community know, hey, my story, my mentors were really around, initially as a very young 4, 5, 6 year old as my parents when they owned their business, and then when that business failed, and I started working as a 10-year-old, that was it was the business owner Graham at that point in time that owned the radiator workshop that I used to work in for a few years, and then we're going into the petrol station, the guy that owned that. Stan, and then Ross at the next station. Like those business owners, from kind of 5 years old to 20 years old it's my first experience with mentors in my life, because they had different experiences and different, certainly they had very different views, different ways of doing things in their businesses. And they were all getting different results, and that gave me the opportunity, spending so much time with so many different mentors. Like, I used to immerse myself. I recall going back to a 14-year-old kid in school holidays doing double shifts in the petrol station. Whilst yes, there was a financial reason to do that, but there was a lot of time I got to spend with that business owner. When you're talking about 16 or 18 hours in a day of just immersing yourself, just being a
Absorbing.
sponge
Yeah.
of the way that things get done, and you do that and you get that. And the previous mentor, I got that, and you get that, and you end up, after doing that for a couple of decades, you
Yeah.
end up with being able to splice in all of these different methodologies and different results to being able to get a formula that then I could go on and replicate in many businesses over the next 20 years.
Yeah, indeed. And I know, like, my parents are business owners as well. And I was reflecting on that before I started this. And there was absolutely, I didn't necessarily give them the label of mentor, but I certainly, just by living with them, we lived in the business, we were in hotels and stuff like that. And I absorbed what they were doing in business. Now, there's going to be areas of business that you watch and absorb that you go, actually, that's a really good lesson of what not to do,
Yeah,
because we don't
100%.
always get it right? But
Yeah,
that is a learning in itself. Oh, wow, I saw this happen. It didn't play out. Oh, so I've got to do it differently. That is a great lesson in itself, just absorbing those things. Like, my parents didn't always get it right. I didn't always get it right, and nor did my mentors. But that's business, right? Sometimes we
yeah,
absolutely nail it, but it's also being aware of, oh, actually, I didn't. But you and I do, and what good successful people do, is they really dig into, go, why didn't it work? It's not,
yeah,
oh, well, it's me. So it's how
yeah.
it can be your own learnings, right?
Well, hey, anyone that's read my book, Better Business, Better Life, and understood that family journey,
Yeah,
would understand that one of the greatest gifts my parents gave me was the failure of their business, and going
yeah,
through that financial hardship they went through, and the learnings of that, which enabled me to define my goals, and And whilst they were a mentor in terms of their work ethic, they weren't a mentor in terms of financial management. And then I was able to go on and absorb from other people. Oh, okay. Oh, I get it now. That's why that failed with them. And then go on to the next one, and more
Connect
and
the
more and
dots.
more successful people from that, and in different industries. So you've got to try so much stuff. You've got to absorb information from different people, but also in different fields, from different walks of life, so that you can understand how these things, which one of these things, or which ones of these information and data points that you can use and go on to replicate for your own journey. The
Yeah.
more that you can get, and then
and as you absorb and develop those new skills, you will find different mentors. Like you don't, for me, and I know for you, those mentors didn't stick with you for through to today. Like they evolve just like you should, just like your brand does, just like your website does. You get new iterations of you, so you find different mentors that fill the holes. And you might think, oh, I'm nailing everything, but you know what? There is always something to learn, because there's new technologies constantly. Like the stuff that happens on social media and how they work and the metrics and all that sort of stuff changes constantly. How we get product to our clients. So many businesses have moved from walking into their store to being through the screen. So, don't get complacent that, oh, I've ticked off the bookkeeping thing. I know all about the financing. I know about the logistics stuff.
there's
There's
always another level.
so many layers of business that you just got to keep learning. So you got to go find new people to inspire you and help you to build that muscle in you. And what I often hear from business owners when I'm talking to them is, oh, well, I don't want to learn about that because I don't actually want to do it. Well, that's just garbage. Call crap on that.
You got to have a broad overview, right?
Yeah, exactly. How
You've got
can
to
you
have a broad
outsource it if
overview.
you don't know how to do these things? So, your mentor journey will also change as you evolve and your business evolves, and that's a really important piece. Don't think it's a one-stop shop, or it's the same person forever. Don't be afraid to go, actually, I've learnt what I can from that person. If it's a formal arrangement, be prepared to say, this has been great, let's move on. You've got other people to support. I now need to go find others. Do you know somebody who might be able to help me with that area? Because you might know that they generally got good networks, right? Good mentors.
Yeah, and what I would say is that before you define who your mentors are at this period of time right now, you really need to know what it is that you want in your life, because that really is a pointer to for me. Building and accumulating, amassing wealth over my lifetime was really important. And I understood that business was a great way to create wealth, but I still did need money and financial mastery, education in those areas. So I had to look to people that had vast amounts of wealth, and these aren't to mentor that. It's not. You don't necessarily need to know the billionaire that's clearly not going to be next door. Certainly wasn't for me when I was growing up. So it's okay to not even know these people. But you just need to immerse yourself in what content, information that they're putting out. What is it that they're doing? Every if they've got books, great. Every video piece of content, every newspaper article, everything that you can research to give you a more clue what they're doing, how they've done it, what their view is, not just 5 years ago or 7 years ago, but as current as possible, to look at how they're viewing the world now. Why? Always ask why. And for me, that wealth journey was really, really important. Now, hey Joanne, as you know, like the charity, the give back side is really important. So I really try and immerse and give myself a lot of time with people in that kind of area there, so I can understand more and get more in tune. Because if you spend time in those hemispheres, with those people, you will absorb that information.
Yeah. And
If
so
it's something that you want to do.
The really critical piece that you mentioned there at the beginning of what you were just speaking about was connecting to your goals. So, we talk about this all the time. You need to have a plan, like there should be a business plan in place. But when you create big goals that take your breath away, and then you've got to work backwards, backward engineer it to work out, well, what do I need to do? And some of those to-do activities will be, oh man, I'm going to have to learn about this. I need to connect with these people. I need to go and find the experts in that. So that plan, those big goals that you're going to plan out over the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years, that will give you the insights as, well, who do I need to connect to? Who's done this?
Yeah.
Who's doing
Yeah.
this now? Who do I need to speak to, or who do I need to listen to? Because, as you say, all the technology that you spoke about, that is the beautiful thing about people in business today. Like when I started 20 years ago, when you started 30 odd years ago, it was the newspaper, going to buy a book, going to the library.
Yeah.
There wasn't the internet. So today it's really easy to connect to really high, the big players in the industry that you might be in really easily. And because they've probably got a podcast, they've probably got a YouTube channel, that they're on social media because they're successful for a reason, because they're on all these platforms. So, there's no excuse as to where you can find these people. And you can actually, like, you look at Clubhouse, the number of times I've heard the likes of Mark Randolph, the founder of Netflix. He's available. You can listen to his podcast. You can listen to Nick and I. So, this
Yeah.
comment, people might be thinking, oh, I don't know how to find them. Well, that's garbage. Google them. You will find them on many platforms. And that can be a fantastic way to start absorbing, as you say, all the things that they've done successfully and not, to learn from those
Yeah.
things as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think above all else, find someone that you relate to, that you want to absorb that information from, that you feel that you can replicate in your life. And that will change. That will absolutely change as you go through different phases in your life. But probably for 5 to 10 year blocks of time, that there should be sort of one North Star, one guiding light that you can sort of look to as you get closer to that. You might have to change it up a gear in terms of who your mentor is, but certainly find someone that you can relate to, and that you feel that you can best replicate in your life.
Yeah, and of course, starting this week, if you're listening to this live or just on the recording, and you're going, actually, I need to know how am I going to do all this stuff? Well, the awesome thing is we've got Biz Bootcamp, the next iteration of it, starting this Thursday, and then you'll have 4 solid days. And we've got in Queensland, we've got 3 long weekends. You're going to have a whole bunch of time.
Plenty of time.
The timing is perfect. So if you want to know how to do this, connect with Nick and I. We're mentors. That's what we do. But we've got an 8-week program, 56 days of mentoring from Nick and I that's going to make a fundamental change to your business. So you can go check us out on www.navigatebiz, NAVIGATE-biz.com, and you'll find the Biz Bootcamp in the shop. Join it. It's not too late. You can sign up Thursday if you want, but take action today. Don't delay. Stop. Like, I actually did a little video post this morning of a bus stop, and my question was, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for the bus to maybe turn up? It might not turn up. Or what? Are you going to take some action today? Yeah. So that's what we want.
If you're waiting for the sign, this is the sign.
Indeed. And, we've got a couple of people on the chat this morning, which is wonderful. And both of them are Biz Bootcampers. And I know that this Biz Bootcamp has made a fundamental change to their business. So it's awesome that they stay in the community. They're there. You can, for new Biz Bootcampers, you can connect with these people and understand, once you're in it, how it's evolved, how their business has evolved. So we can't wait to see you there. Go and check us out on our website. And the last and final shout out, if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're not, get there and please subscribe. We have a goal of 1,000 subscribers. This is our big goal for the year. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers, and then we can do more and bigger things on YouTube with you. So look forward to talking to you. We'll be back on here. I'll be back on here on Thursday.
Yeah. And well, great talking this morning. Have a great week, everybody. And we'll talk to you later in the week.
Have a good day.
See ya.
Bye.